What is going on, Hail Raisers? Welcome to a special episode of the Raise Hail Praise Dale podcast. Normally at this time you'd be watching a scheme scene, but there's no cup race for this weekend, so we decided to knock something out of the park and give y'all that's baseball reference. I mean, they're all about to play baseball in Bristol, so it counts. Yeah, we're gonna try something different and do a little NASCAR one-on-one series. So this will be your first episode under that umbrella. Basically what we'll go over here is really telling you what drivers are on what teams, giving you a little bit of statistics about them, and talk about them a little bit and see how it goes. Not going to be super formal.
Yep.
But just something for the new lover of NASCAR to maybe catch up on who's who. But before we get to that, we're going to roll that beautiful intro.
Let's do it. All right. Welcome in. Like we said, this is kind of a NASCAR 101 course. We're just going to start by laying down some basics. So if you're new to NASCAR, this is kind of where we're going to start out. As you guys can see, there are three manufacturers in NASCAR. You have Chevy, which is the far left if you're watching, Ford in the middle, and Toyota in the right. There has been some rumors about a new OEM coming, but
really
nothing confirmed yet. Well,
returning, kind of.
Returning. There's been some rumors about Honda coming, but nothing solid on that one. Dodge is returning to the Truck Series.
That is happening next season. Yeah.
That is 100% happening. But as of right now, in the Cup Series, there are three OEMs or manufacturers.
Free to reign supreme.
Yes,
and as we're going through this, we'll let you know what manufacturer each team is running, just in case you're tied down to a manufacturer when you cheer on somebody. But how we have it broken down is we'll go through each team as far as charter drivers first, and then we'll flip over to open teams at the end. So, with that being said, your first people that we get to talk about. My notes back. Trackhouse. Got three full-time chartered drivers. As you can see on the screen, if you're not, obviously got the 1 of Mr. Ross Chastain, the 88 of Shane Van Gisbergen, and the 99 of Daniel Suarez. There are a couple other drivers that have drove for them recently, but they're open cars, so that's why we're not talking about them at the moment. Who would you think would be the standout driver among?
Are you asking me or the?
Well, I mean, the chat can throw in some comments too, who they think top guy, but
because honestly, I would pick Chastain.
Good choice, considering he has done less races than Daniel Suarez for the team, but he has more than double the wins, double the top 5s, almost double the top 10. Average finish.
Do you have the notes on the drive?
No, actually, I just got driver averages I pulled up.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I was over here looking for the notes. I was like, did he type them up and I just didn't see them?
No. Okay, I figured that was too much stuff to try and take notes with.
No, you're good.
Somebody else did all the work already. I'll just steal it from them.
That sounds good. So yeah, like Voodoo said, you have the number 1 of Ross Chastain, whose main sponsor is mostly Busch. I know schemes play a big part in recognizing the driver, and with today's wraps, it changes quite often, but most of the time the sponsors stay the same and the number font stays the same. And then you have like number fonts for teams like Trackhouse, where theirs is very recognizable.
See that? They're the only team, if you look close at the numbers, they got that kind of slash through the numbers.
Yep.
Kind of
But
one way to help out.
yeah. And then Shane Van Gisbergen, a little history on him is he is from New Zealand, and he come from the supercar circuit in Australia, which is basically like road course NASCAR all the time. He come over for the Chicago Street Race 23, wasn't it, or was it 24? So one of those, and he ended up winning his.
Alex Bowman won it last year.
Yeah, that's right. So he ended up winning his NASCAR debut, and then that sparked him running a season in Xfinity, and now he's running a season here, which in my opinion, I think he should have stayed in Xfinity just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
because he's kind of flailing in
Cup, which I think Zilich would have been a better fit for that car.
Yeah, I agree.
But who am I? Just a mere podcaster with 127 Hail Razors behind me.
That's right. And then, of course, you've got Daniel Suarez, who he usually runs a freeway car. Freeway insurance.
Pretty much been freeway.
Yeah. He's the number 99. He is from Mexico. I can't remember what city in Mexico, but he is from Mexico. He's been around for a little bit, but that is your Trackhouse team.
Yes, sir. That being said, the way we're doing the order of the teams is by car number. So obviously, it looks like we're jumping around because of 188 and 99, but because they have the one, why they go first. So,
yeah,
team with the number 2 will go next, which will be Team Penske.
Yes, sir.
As you notice, we got the headshots of each driver, so you can hopefully put a name to a face there.
Yeah, and then of course, if you guys are F1 fans or anything, you know, Penske, they have cars in the different series. I think they even have a rally series.
I think so.
I'm not a Penske fan, honestly. I mean,
they're a Penske paint scheme fan.
I'm definitely not a Penske paint scheme fan. I mean, so they're drivers. Before I get ahead of myself, you have Austin Cindric in the number 2. Then you have Ryan Blaney in the 12 and Joey Logano in the 22. I have not ever really been a Penske fan, even when like who was in
Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney's about the only one that I really like in this lineup. Honestly, I like his personality. He's not just really bland and overconfident like Logano and Cindric. I mean,
just to put it into perspective, though, there's still one driver that's no longer on this team that all of them. He's actually no longer racing anymore. Rusty Wallace.
That is true. Rusty Wallace, that's the only Penske driver. Well, didn't Tony run for Penske too for a little bit? I'm not even thinking.
No,
Tony. Well, no. I know who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Brad Keselowski.
Yes, he did. He ran in the 2.
He ran the 2. Yeah. So did Kurt Busch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Sorry if this is confusing, guys. We're talking about past Penske drivers.
I mean, you gotta know some of the history too.
Yeah, but the current Penske drivers are the 2, the 12, and the 22 of Cindric, Blaney, and Logano. And their font is about the same all the way over.
If you look at those 2s, they're all exact same.
Yeah. I mean, if it ends in a 2, except for like the 42, you can guarantee it's Penske.
So, Team Penske's been around for a little bit in the Cup Series. They have 2,726 starts.
Jeez.
But 150 wins, and they are 1 win away from hitting 700 top 5. Or not win, but top 5.
Top 5. That's not bad. Not quite Hendrick numbers, but not bad.
So technically, Logano's got the longevity here, but I'll say Blaney's probably the better driver.
I agree. You also have to take into account Logano's been racing since 2008, 2009, somewhere around there.
Let's see.
So I know he was with Joe Gibbs for a couple of years.
He only ran 3 races in 2008, but then he switched to 2009.
And he was in the 20 car for Joe Gibbs in 2009. I think he switched to Penske in 2010, 2011.
Somewhere around there. He's got 441 starts in this 22.
Yeah.
144 starts. 2 in the 96 and 1 in the 02.
That's pretty neat. Well, we can go ahead and move on to RCR.
Yep, RCR will be up next.
Yes, sir. You hear us talk about RCR. We're talking about Richard Childers Racing, and they only have 2 drivers. I'm gonna say this because I have to. An insult to the 3. You have Austin Dillon. I dislike Austin Dillon. I've met him like face to face, and they'd only affirmed my opinion of him. He was very rude and just unenthusiastic when all the fans were there. Kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. But then you also have Kyle Busch in the 8, which made a career-changing decision in, what was it, 23? To leave Joe Gibbs 18 and went to the 8.
I think that was partial to M&M's dropping out too.
Yeah. Which, as you guys know, if you keep up with any NASCAR news, he hasn't had a win since. It's gotten close. Well, a cup win, I'll say that. He's had a truck win last season.
But the good news about RCR is Mr. Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, is still on top. 529 races, 67 wins. Average finish of 10.4. Almost always in the top 10.
If he had a nickname like Earnhardt, his name wouldn't be the Intimidator. It'd be the Intimidated. Oh, man.
There's not really much to talk about on this team. They're both kind of mid.
And a lot of people associate the 3 with Dale Earnhardt, like we did, obviously. Originally, it belonged to Richard Childers, which is the owner and Austin Dillon's grandson or grandpa.
Yeah.
So if you watch the podcast, you'll hear us talk about Pop's money for him and Ty Gibbs, which we'll get to the Gibbs
a little bit later.
Yeah, but their grandparents own the company, and they're just kind of the free ride in, honestly.
So this next team here includes the 4. So you would think if you were watching last season that would go to Stewart Haas Racing. Well, nope. They've dropped down to 1 car and switched their name to Haas Factory Team. But we're going to talk about them way later. And we're going to move the 4 over to Front Row Motorsports.
Yes, sir. Honestly, I would rank this as like a B-rate team. I mean, there has been some good plays, but I mean, it was a lot better when Michael McDowell ran in it.
Well, put it into perspective. I know they just expanded the 3 cars, but they've started 1,391 races. They have 4 wins. 4. Count them on one hand. So, I mean, they looked like they were making progress last season, and then they let McDowell move on. I think he was probably their strongest driver.
Definitely.
Is what it is.
I will say Todd Gilliland isn't doing as bad this season as he did last, if I remember right. Which, I mean, hey, let's go over the numbers before we jump ahead of ourselves. We've got Noah Gragson in the 4, Todd Gilliland in the 34, and Zane Smith in the 38.
Yes, sir.
And
Zane Smith moved over from Spire.
Yeah.
Noah Gregson moved over from Stuart Haas. And Todd Gilliland moved from the 38 to the 34. A whole bunch of changes on this team. But like he mentioned, I think probably Gregson is the one best out of them.
I think so. My dryer's shaking my entire house, so if you see my camera shake, I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like an earthquake. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Their average finish
There's
is
not much.
26.79.
Yeah,
Rough.
there's not very much to say about front row.
Hopefully, we'll see some more success from them, though. Get them a little more competitive.
We'll see.
Moving
Next, we're
on
moving
to
on
everybody's
to
favorite.
Hendrick. Yep. This is the bandwagon team because they have so much money and do everything so great that everybody jumps on their bandwagon.
Yeah.
Except
for Alex. Nobody likes him.
That's fair. So we've got Kyle Larson in the 5, which I'm sure you guys know these drivers by now. But you got Chase Elliott in the 9, which I get plenty of hate for it. But if boring was a person, it would be Chase Elliott. William Byron in the 24 because Gordon couldn't let it go, so Gordon owns part of that 24. And then you got Bowman, the non-showman, who maybe gets a pole. Not very many results when you look at the other 3.
He's the weak link.
Yep. If I were him, I'd be kind of worried about my job. Just saying.
This is Jimmy Johnson's former team.
Yes, sir. It is Jimmy Johnson's former team, and what a disgrace to the 48. Yeah, I wish they would have put Larson in the 48. Honestly, I think he would have matched it a lot better than the.
I know. But if you want success behind the driver that you're wanting to root for, this will be the team to go after.
Yeah. Like I said, biggest budgets, best results. They just got their 40th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
They've been in racing forever. I forget how many wins. It's an insane amount. It's like 700 or something, 600.
Well, no. So they got 4,884 starts. Average finish of 15. Their wins are only 350.
I thought it was more than that. I thought they just got their 400th win or something.
I don't believe so.
Because I remember Johnson coming out with the 300th Hendrick win back in like 2012. Something like that.
I mean, this website could be off. I'm not saying it's perfect.
I'm gonna Google this one real quick. I just know they have like an insane amount of wins.
I'm going off the one website, so didn't verify any of the stats.
No. I guess that's accurate. Hendrick Motorsports has 315 NASCAR Cup Series wins.
Maybe they got more wins across like all of the series.
They had 29 Xfinity Series, 26 in truck, and 7 in the ARCA.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is I want to cheer for people who win a lot.
Yeah.
But now you got another team. Remember we mentioned Brent Keselowski earlier? He now partially owns this team.
Sir Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing.
Yeah.
If you had any older like parents or grandparents watch NASCAR, you've definitely heard about the Roush engines because Roush used to build the Ford and the Dodge engine. Yeah, the Roush Yates engines. They were highly sought after until they weren't. Now there's a race team, and of course Keselowski owns a big part of it. And he is in the number 6. Usually like build submarines, or here recently it's been Kroger stuff. So
Well, he
But
hasn't been running the Kroger as much. He's been Build Submarines and Castrol.
yeah,
Most of the Kroger have been on Busher, and most of
I
the
got
Build Submarines really has been
Ben
on Priest too.
Priest. Yeah, Chris Busher. I always want to say Christopher.
We're not
Chris
talking about your
Busher.
driver here.
I know. But he is in the 17, and Ryan Priest moved over from RFK after or not RFK, but Stuart Haas when they shut down to RFK, and he is currently sitting in the 60. And if you've ever seen these cars, they all have a very similar um, scheme, I guess. It's like it's got swooshes on the bottom and
Yeah.
stuff. It's very noticeable.
Colors may not be the same, but the pattern of the scheme is
Yeah,
much the
that's
same.
what I was trying to. Yeah, but it's all very noticeable. You see the difference. Uh, so far this season, in my opinion, Priest has been carrying. He has been up there. It almost seems like Stuart Haas just wasn't giving him the equipment that he needed because when he come over here, he started getting top fives and top tens, and it's pretty nice.
Some of the notable drivers that have been part of this team, at least higher end of it, would be Mark Martin, Greg Biffle,
Mhm.
Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Jeff Burton, a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah. Roush has been around for a while. I mean, obviously, it wasn't called RFK until Keselowski bought into it.
Yeah.
But Roush Fenway, Roush Yates, uh, they've been in NASCAR for a hot minute. So definitely,
4,050 races.
yeah, it's it's been a minute. So
3 top fives away from hitting 800 top five.
that's insane. That's more than Penske was.
Yep.
That's nuts. But then again, I think you also had Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth and all them on it. So I mean, they were power
They
players.
were
So
some wheelmen.
yeah, I would love to see Carl Edwards back in a car just for one race. To
It was
like,
cool to see him on the flag stand a couple weeks ago.
it was cool. I wish he'd come back for just one race or something.
Know who we get to watch this weekend, though, right?
Casey Kane
Exactly.
at the Rock.
Now we just need Cup cars
Yeah.
to go there. But anyways, moving on
Here's the
to
dream.
Fire.
Yes, sir. This is another one of those teams that is kind of B-rate. I mean, they're a newer team. They're just trying to get on their feet, honestly. They got McDowell from Front Row.
Yeah.
He's in the 71. You got Justin Haley in the 7 and Carson Hocevar in the 77. And I'm going to say this. Hocevar, I think, is hilarious, his personality. But I don't think his driving is on par with his attitude.
I can see that.
If that makes sense. Like, I would love to see like Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson with his attitude, because I think it would make for another Dale Jr. If you understand what I'm saying. The most popular driver that actually is willing to do stuff for NASCAR, like build the brand instead of just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see it. Really, the only person who's been here more than one season for this team right now would be Hocevar.
Yeah.
Haley came from Rick Ware, and McDowell came from Front Row.
Yeah, because LaJoy was in it at the beginning last year, and then mid-season they swapped.
Yep, and then Zane Smith was in the 71.
Yep.
But
Zane's
this team has 423 starts, and can you guess how many wins they got?
zip.
Wrong. They have one.
Oh,
You guess which driver of these three has that one?
McDowell.
Nope. Justin Haley.
Oh.
What race
I
was
would
it?
have never. Now that one I don't know.
Oh, came back in 2019.
Oh, that's before I started
Definitely
watching
been a
NASCAR again.
I don't know what race it was. Yeah,
I
not
can
who
Google it
I
real
would
quick.
expect to have the win for the team, but
No?
I could see McDowell pulling out some for him though,
Yeah.
especially at speedways, super speedways. That is. All right, so technically by this thing, 8 would be next, but we already talked about him with RCR. 9 would be after that, but we already talked about him with Hendrick. So that jumps to the number 10. Was also formerly Stewart Haas Racing, but now it
He
belongs.
won the United Reynolds 300 at Daytona.
Yeah, I can see that. Super Speedway.
Nope.
But this next team has the 10 and the 16. That would be Colleague. One of the Dillon brothers. Be the Ty Dillon of the Dillon brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's in the 10, and then AJ Allmendinger in the 16.
Yes, sir. Which is Allmendinger's not a full-time driver this year, is he?
Yes, he is. All 36 charters are full time.
For some reason, I was thinking he was another.
Last year,
Maybe it was because the 16 changed so much last year that it's just in my brain that it's a different one. But anyway, Austin Dillon, or not Austin, I'm sorry, Ty Dillon. Wrong Dillon, brother. Of course, like we said, he's Richard Chiller's grandson. I would put him up against Austin. I think he's a better driver. Now, I'm not at all putting him in the top NASCAR ranks, but between him and his brother, he's the better driver.
Absolutely.
Allmendinger, he's been around for a hot minute.
Yeah, since 2020. First Cup Series start.
But
I mean, this team here has 253 starts. They have 2 wins.
They're doing better than
that other whatever team.
Yeah, I don't know why my mind just went blink.
AJ Allmendinger has both. One came in 2021 and one came in 2023.
He didn't have a bad finish this weekend either.
No.
That boring Bristol.
They need one more finish to hit, or one more top 5 finish to hit 15 top 5s. So not too bad.
Nice. Not bad for a young team.
Yeah. So next we'll hit the 11. It'll be the other 4-car chartered team.
Yes, sir. These guys have been around for a while. JGR, of course, stands for Joe Gibbs Racing. And as you can see in the 54, you've got Ty Gibbs, which is Joe Gibbs' grandson. That's Papaw's money. But he is not the heavy hitter. If anything, I'd rank him in the bottom of this team. The heavy hitter has got to be in between Hamlin and Bell.
Yeah, absolutely. Briscoe would be not too far behind them, and then Gibbs would be like
way far
a couple
behind.
Months later.
Yeah. But Denny Hamlin, I'm sure you know the name. He's been around for a hot minute. It's been in the 11 forever. And then Chase Briscoe just took over the 19 from Martin Truex Jr., who retired last season. Yeah. He come over from Stewart Haas. And then Christopher Bell took the 20 from Eric Jones back in 21, I want to say. It was 20 or 21. But so Christopher Bell's been around for a while. Denny Hamlin's been around for a while. They're the heavy hitters in this. Is like for this season, I mean, Bell has 3 back-to-back wins this season. Hamlin's got 1. The only thing that I can say is none of these drivers have a championship.
Correct. One will never have one.
I was about to say, and if Hamlin ever gets a championship, it will be the day that I am upset because I think it's hilarious. He's been in NASCAR for over 20 years, and he has yet to have a championship, even though I would put him up there with some of the best drivers.
Now, this team as a whole, just to put it into perspective, they have a total of 3,207 starts in the Cup Series. 219 wins. And to piggyback off of his little bank to bank to bank, just this season alone, they've had 36 starts and 5 wins. So.
It was up until this last week, I think, that they had drivers finish in the top 5 from the beginning of the season to here. I want to say it could be completely wrong.
They do have 14 top 5s, 18 top 10s. Yeah. That's just this season.
Yeah, it's insane.
They need one more top 5 finish to hit 950 top 5s.
Jeez. These insane. Boys be cooking. Some of the notable drivers from JGR are Tony Stewart. We talked about Joey Logano. He was a JGR driver. Who else? Bobby Labonte. He's a JGR.
Kyle Busch was there. You had Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, obviously Truex, Kenseth. Dale Jarrett ran here for a little while.
Sweet.
Carl Edwards even ran over here for a little while.
I didn't know Edwards ran for JGR for a little bit. That's pretty neat.
What years did he run? 72 races in the 19.
Huh.
With 5 wins.
Dang. Carl Edwards cooked, though. I don't care what you say. Carl Edwards, he was a wheel man.
Your best person in the 19 car, though, would not be Martin Truex Jr. On wins, it would be. He had 15 wins in that car. Out of 216 starts, but there's somebody that actually started in that car more than he has.
Who's that?
I don't know if I've heard of this guy. Henley Gray.
Huh. I've never heard of him.
No wins, no top 5s.
Well, that's probably why we've never
2
heard
laps. Not really noteworthy. Jumping up next, we already did the 12. No 13. There's no 14. Technically no 15 anymore either. We already did the 16. We did the 17. There's no 18 anymore. We did the 19. We did the 20.
Yep.
So what does that jump us to? The 21.
21. Wood Brothers Racing. Josh Berry just took over for Harrison Burton this season and already has a win. Harrison Burton did clinch a win last season, but it's been a minute for the Wood Brothers.
Harrison Burton did give them their 100th win, though, so that was kind of...
It's true. Yeah, but they've also been around for 75 years.
True, but you think about it, they've been around for 75 years, but only have 1,768 races that they've taken part in.
What have they been doing since?
Well, they've been running every season, just not full time. They did full time in 60. Well, assuming that it was 36 races, they did full time in 64, and then not full time again until 2001. Went through 2006, and then they went on a break again, and then came back in 2016 to start running full time, and have been running full time since.
Huh.
So since 2016, they only have 3 wins.
That's insane. Because and that's another thing. I like doing videos like this because I never really put it in perspective. I always thought that they were just a full-time team because I remember hearing about Wood Brothers Racing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with the NASCAR 75 and their 75, you'd think that they've been around forever, which obviously they hadn't. They just been back and forth.
They all... obviously, 1,669 races of that 1,768 have been in the 21, and then they shuffled through a bunch of other numbers. They had the 7, the 16, the 41, the 12, the 47, the 11.
That's nuts.
The 24. Had one race with 24.
That had to be pre-Gordon.
Yeah. But David Pearson would be the highest driver for this team. He had 143 races with 43 wins.
Dang.
Elliott Sadler sat in this car. Kyle Petty, Ricky Rudd, Michael Waltrip, Ryan Blaney, Cale Yarborough.
I knew Cale ran for him, and I knew Petty ran for him. Kyle,
Paul Menard, Bill Elliott, obviously Glenn Wood.
Obviously,
quite a few drivers have been through this one too.
Quite a few bigger names. That's nuts. We can move on over to 23XI.
They would be the next one because we already did the 22. So.
Yes, sir. We got Bubba Wallace, or you'll sometimes see him as Darrell Wallace Jr. And then he's in the 23.
Another young team. They formed back in 2021.
But this team's nuts. This team's nuts when it comes to wins and top fives. Which, to be fair, they have basically an endless budget. Because
Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I mean, Denny's been in NASCAR forever, and Michael Jordan's been a GOAT forever. So, I mean, they have a basically endless budget, and let's be honest, that they get some of the better sponsors, and just branding wise, they have it set. So, but anyway, Bubba Wallace is in the 23. Riley Earpst is in the 35, and Tyler Reddick is in the 45. And I would argue that Tyler Reddick is the powerhouse to this team.
You would think it'd be Bubba Wallace because he's been around on the team longer with 152 starts, but Tyler Reddick's only have 81 starts, and he's got more than twice the amount of wins as Bubba Wallace.
And of course, Riley Earpst is a rookie this year, and he's not looking too good.
Looking better than your rookie, but
I was gonna say that's what I was about to say. I was gonna give you credit.
There's only two rookies this season. That'd be Riley Earpst and Shane Van Gisbergen in that 88 for Trackhouse.
Yes, sir.
But this team formed in 2021, has been full time the entire time. They have 284 starts with 8 wins and 51 top fives already.
It's nuts. How a quarter of their races they're finishing top 5. When you really start looking at like data like that, it really puts into perspective some of these new teams, how good they actually are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's some notable drivers that have been in this one too. So former Cup driver, Kurt Busch, but some international guys and some one-off guys. You got Kamui Kobayashi has driven for this team twice.
Oh yeah, he ran that 50.
Yeah. Juan Pablo Montoya has sat in this car. Well, on this team, rather. And then Mr. Travis Pastrana did a Daytona race in this car.
I was about to say, I think he did Daytona in 23, because I remember when all that.
Not a bad team to go for. If you are anti-Denny Hamlin, this will be a different Toyota team that you can drive for. Or root for. Probably not drive for.
I mean, if you're good at it, maybe. But
yeah, you could try. So that moves us on to, we already did the 24 of Hendrick. Who would that leave us to? Is just no 25, no 12. I don't know. Let's just hit the next button and see what it is. Oh, Haas Factory Team. Down to a one-car team this season.
Yes, sir. Haas Factory Team, formerly known as Stuart Haas. They went from a 4-car to a 1-car this last season.
And not looking too pretty.
No. Not trying to be rude or anything, but Cole Custer looks like he sells insurance. Not a race car driver. Like, if you met him in an airport and you're like, oh man, hey, what do you do for work? And he's like, oh, I drive NASCAR. I wouldn't believe
him. Prior to 2025 for this team, before it shrunk down to just Haas Factory Team, so this doesn't include this season, it'll be 1,990 races, 70 wins, 343 top fives.
I think those numbers would stay the same. I don't think he's gotten a top 5.
I think he's gotten a top 10, but I don't think he's gotten a top.
Yeah. I did like the 00 that he ran in Xfinity, though.
I would have rather them bring back the 00 than keeping the 41.
I agree.
But
they could have thrown back to that 00 and like the net 0. Do you remember that car? It was like silver and black.
I thought net 0 was just a single 0, though.
Mm-mm. It might have been.
I don't know. I know Aaron's Dream Machine was on the 00 for a little bit.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
And then you got Quinn Houff, and that tarnished the 00.
True.
But anywho's, he drives the 41, not the 00. He has no wins this season. He's not technically a rookie.
No, because he ran a season 22, 23, somewhere in there.
I'm trying to look for. Doesn't have Haas factory team on the list. I'm going to go a different route to look for them. So yeah, they've had 18 races completed. 9 in the Cup Series, 9 in the Xfinity. Actually, he has not had a top 10. His highest finish this season is 21st. I thought he had a top 10.
I did too.
I'd wrong.
He ran in 2020 and was awarded the Sunoco Rookie of the Year award.
Oh, well, he definitely doesn't have rookie skills no more. So
nope.
When we talked about Hendrick, we talked about Jimmy Johnson leaving that 48. Well, he left it. Decided to buy into Legacy Motor Club.
Well, technically, he rebranded Legacy Motor Club. It used to be Petty GMS.
Well, he bought into it and then renamed it, and now he
owns it.
Is the sole owner. Well, no,
he's not the sole. He's the main owner.
Yeah, they have like another minority owner that's like a group of people or whatever.
Yeah. But before it was Legacy, it was Petty GMS. Before it was Petty GMS, it was Petty Enterprises.
Yeah. We only have stats for the Legacy Motor Club, but we'll mention the names of the drivers first before we get into those numbers.
In the 42, we've got John Hunter Nemechek. I almost said Joe. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that would be his
Joe was his dad. Yep. But John Hunter Nemechek is in the 42. And in the 43, we've got Eric Jones.
He stayed with Toyota, went back. I mean, technically, he went to Legacy when it was Chevy, and then they moved over to Toyota afterwards.
But because Chevy wasn't giving them crap.
Yeah. So technically, Legacy Motor Club has only been around since 2022. They have 247 races that they've started in. Have started 247 times. Most of those are dual starts. They do have one win. Came in 2022 for Mr. Eric Jones.
Yes, sir.
7 top 5s. They were not looking pretty last season. They started off stronger this season, but have kind of tapered off a little bit again.
Yeah. Which, like we said, it's a younger team, and it doesn't have the funding like 23XI and stuff like that. So they're having to build a lot more foundation than they are worried about race wins.
A couple of guys that have ran for this team. Ty
Jimmy
Dillon, Noah Gragson, Jimmy Johnson, Hocevar even ran some races. Then Mr. Mike Rockenfeller.
Yeah, you hear us talk about Jimmy Johnson a lot. If you're new to the sport, you might know, you might not. Jimmy Johnson is one of 3 people who has won the championship race 7 times. That's the most it's ever been won. The first one to win it was Richard Petty. The second one was Dale Earnhardt Sr., and the last one was Johnson, and he took the checkered flag in 2016 for his final championship. And what makes Johnson so special is from 2005 to 2010, his championships were back to
back. Yes, that's 5
yes,
times.
sir. And if you can't tell, both Voodoo and I are time.
Your audio is starting to cut out.
I'm sorry.
What he was saying is basically both of us are Jimmy Johnson fans. So he's got a little collection that includes more than just Jimmy Johnson. Mine is mostly just Jimmy Johnson with a little bit of other guys.
Mostly because I bought him the other guys, but
yeah. All right. Moving on. We already did the 45. We jump into another single car team. Yeah, now known as Hayek Motorsports.
Motorsports.
Hayek.
Well,
Recky's known as
JTG
Darty Racing.
Daughtery. That's how I always said it. JTG Daughtery. Anyway,
doesn't matter because now it's Hayek.
Ricky Stithouse is in the 47.
Mostly runs a Sunny D car lately.
Yeah, I was about to say he's been running the Sunny D car. There's not very much to say. I mean, he might have a couple top fives.
Well, the team, including all the past of when it was JTG and all that stuff, has 799 starts with 3 wins, 29 top fives. Stenhouse did get 2 of those wins, but can you guess who got the 3rd win? He is currently a full-time driver in the Cup Series.
Currently a full-time driver? It wasn't Chase Elliott, was it?
No. Oh. AJ Allmendinger.
The Dinger.
Ryan Preece has been in this car. Chris Buescher. Bobby Labonte. Does this name ring a bell? Mr. Marcos Ambrose?
Sure does. Well done.
And then other guys like Ron Keselowski, Brian Keselowski. We don't know brothers. That name. Yeah, single car team. Kind of mid. Gets lucky every now and then. Snag a win. I think, we'll jump over to another single car team. Rick Ware Racing.
Yes, sir.
Cody Ware in that 51.
Papaw's money. The only difference is Papaw doesn't have very much money compared to the other ones. Oh, Cody Ware's running Rick Ware's car.
Yeah. Can you tell they're related? Is
that right?
Do you know what's special about this team?
What's that?
They have 642 starts. How many wins do you think they got?
Zip. Maybe
that
one.
Would be correct. 0. How many top fives do you think they got?
3.
Ooh, close. They only got 2.
Cody
Ware did get one of them. David Reagan got the other one.
Oh, Davey.
You have all kind of people that have driven for this team. We're not going to run into those.
It seems kind of like a
revolving door.
Yeah. But anyway.
Enough of that team. Moving on up to open teams now. That's the last harder team. So Rick Ware Racing did start some other cars this season so far. They do at least got some more starts for Mr. Corey LaJoy in that 0-1 lined up. It's his favorite one to announce how many races he has not won.
Yep. It's nice. It's like 257, I think, is where we're at.
Let's get a look. 275.
That's what it was. I knew it was 250 or 275. I think 252 is Ty Dillon. That's what it is.
So he has 0 wins out of that. Guess how many top fives he's got in that 275?
3.
Close. He's got 4. A little bit better than what you got him. Only 11 top 10s, though.
man. This next guy, he was Tim. Yeah, the reason he got a car is because he was one of the drivers that is a big modified driver there at Bowman Gray. So that's where his start come from. Where he wrecked out.
Trying to find him.
Good luck.
Well, he's just.
Because he was just a
lot of people.
He was just a one-off driver, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't think it counted as a start technically because it was the Clash.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't see him on this list.
He wrecked out.
And the
Richmond. I forget his name. I think his name's Richmond. The other guy that made a bigger deal out of because he had one more championship than that dude at Bowman Gray. He actually had a start. I want to say it's Charlotte or Martinsville. One of these.
That Burt Myers.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So these guys you won't be able to root for on a regular basis. These guys are open cars, which means that they'll show up when they feel like showing up, and they have to race their way into the race if there's more than 40 people that show up.
Yeah.
All of these guys are open guys that we're going to be talking about from here on out. RCR started at 33 a couple times this season. Mr. Austin Hill and Jesse Love.
Yes, sir. And this weekend, they're also running a 33 in the Xfinity Series for Casey Kane.
Yeah, don't confuse the people. Not talking about Xfinity.
No, I was just saying. I'm excited. Casey Kane used to run the 9. Before it was Hendrick. I forget who owned the 9.
Holy smokes. The 33 car has run 1,170 times with 23 wins.
Dang.
You know who the most winningest driver and most starts in the 33 was?
Who's that?
It's a scheme you like.
Scheme I like, huh? Man, I can't think of any of them off the top of my head.
Mr. Harry Gant.
Oh, I didn't even think about going back that far. I was thinking like early 2000s. The Skull Bandit, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Then you had Clint Boyer sat in that car before, Joe Nemechek.
See, that's who I thought of was Joe Nemechek. I just wasn't 100%. I didn't even think about Harry Gant sitting in the 33 Skull Bandit for Richard Childers. Bro.
Throwing your curveballs, man.
He did.
Toes.
That was such a good scheme.
Right. These are also one-offs. Jesse Love actually made his NASCAR Cup debut this season in that 33.
He did.
Didn't do too well, though.
Nope.
Here we go.
Yeah. Justin Allgaier on that beautiful Junior Sports 40 at the Daytona 500. The Traveler's Whiskey car. It was a huge deal because it's the first car that Junior Motorsports put in Cup.
I was about to say, I don't have to look up stats for this one because they've only run one.
Yep.
One car.
And he finished in top 10, I think.
I believe so. Let's see.
Yep. I wish. I wasn't even a big Dale fan growing up, but like the older I get, the more I like Junior. I wish that he would run a Cup team.
Interest, blah, 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 qualifying.
At least partner with another team.
He qualified 33rd, so not even close to the end. But he finished 9th.
Yeah.
Not bad for just starting out.
No. Which that big wreck did help him, I'm not going to lie.
I gotta take him when you could take him.
It's Daytona, baby. What do you expect?
Exactly.
Johnson got a 3 finish, boy.
It was definitely the scheme of the week for that week, too.
Oh, yeah. That scheme was top tier, bro.
Only a few more slides to go through. Next up, we got NY Racing. JJ Yaley in that number 44. Comes every now and then.
This one had it. If I remember right, no, I'm thinking of a different scheme. I was thinking of like the Irish whiskey scheme for the 500.
I had Whiskey River. What they had, that green and gold one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Is that this car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That sucker was pretty too.
Yeah, it was. He ran it for multiple
It,
races too.
yeah, but I don't think they
Daytona
made.
and Atlanta, I think.
They didn't make it Daytona because they got raced out in the
Well, I
duels.
mean, he had the scheme there. He didn't qualify
Yeah,
in, but
I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that it was a very pretty scheme.
yeah. He's been running part time since 2012. At least the team has. 34 races. No top fives, no top tens.
Big oof.
Yeah. Now, he had Greg Biffle in the car for 5 races. David Rudiman,
Good old
Reed
Greg.
Sorensen, Joey Gase. A couple of notable names there. There we go. Here's the other guy you were talking about, Mr. Burt Myers.
Yes, sir. Team Amerivet. Formerly, what
The money
was it?
team.
Yeah, that's right. I knew it was like a crazy team, but yeah, they ran the 50 for Burt Myers, for the Clash, and I want to say it was Charlotte, but I don't know if it was or not.
Let's see.
I know it wasn't a bad scheme.
Holy smokes, there's been a lot of people driving the 50. It doesn't tell me what race it is.
One of them was Kaz Gralla with that awesome Pit Viper scheme here a while back.
Yeah, Connor Daly was in a few times.
Martinsville. It was Martinsville.
Okay. I know it was a short track. I just didn't remember which one.
I couldn't remember which one it was, but yeah. But
moving on from Team Amerivet. Tricon Garage with a one-off start. That's their first and only start. Recognize this name.
He did run the 19 in the years before. Yep. Even ran the 78.
He's ran the 1 as well, hadn't he?
Yep, that's what he started in, is the 1, because when he ran for Richard Childers, I want to say. It is either Richard. Yeah. It was Richard Childers or DEI. No, it was after DEI.
Yeah.
So
you can't cheer for him because he's technically retired.
Technically, he's working on helping his younger brother up the ranks.
Since he's retired, let's look at his numbers. Try and bring him up real quick. Obviously, he's not going to be on active drivers right now.
Right.
NASCAR Cup Series career, 22 years, and 694 starts.
No, he won in the championship in 2017.
Yeah. He had 34 wins, 291 top tens.
Yes, sir. And I will say, because I met him the same day I met Austin Dillon, he is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Last win was in 2023, the Crayon 301 at New Hampshire.
Yep. But yeah, he is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
To move on to the next one.
Well, I'm ready when you are.
Let's do it. Just Anthony Alfred, Fast Pasta.
Oh, Fast Pasta.
Beard Motorsports.
Yes, sir. He ran the number 62 Dude Wipes. He also ran a Death Wish car last year that was
that
top
one.
tier.
And this year it was a Fortify Building Solutions or something similar to that.
Yeah.
But Beard Motorsports has 30 starts since 2017. Big goose egg for wins and 1 top 5, 7 top 10s.
Did he get the top 5?
Nope. Noah Gregson did.
Oh.
But the driver that started the most in this car would be Mr. Brendan Gaughan. 17 starts. Enough about that team, though. They're part-time.
Yes, sir.
I do think they're planning on running a few more races this season. You'll be
I
able to
think
see
so.
that 62 on
I
track.
remember seeing Alfredo's name on some, but I don't know if it's for Beard.
Yeah, I think he'll be doing more super speedways. We'll see.
Not sure.
The 66 of Garage 66, another revolving
Man.
door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Had Casey Mears, Josh Balicki, Sammy Smith. I don't remember the Smithley's first name.
Josh Balicki.
I said Smithley. I did it backwards.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I knew Josh Balicki, Casey Mears, and Sammy Smith.
It's Chandler Smith, actually. And that's Garrett
Is Sammy
Smithley.
his brother or something? Or
I don't know if they're related or not.
they might not be.
So Garage 66 used to be Motorsports Business Management, the Cup Series.
Yep, MBM.
Yeah. Pull up their stats real quick. As you can see, all four of these guys actually already started this season. But they've only been Garage 66 this season. So, as you can see, technically Garrett Smithley doesn't count because that was the Clash. The rest of them. I don't think Chandler Smith made Daytona 500. So that just leaves you Casey Mears and Josh Balicki. So technically, they only have 2 starts. Oof. One of those being a DNF. Kind of. Oof. Yeah. Next up, Live Fast Motorsports.
Yes, sir. We got the old BJ McLeod. And then we got, Catherine Legg. I think her name was Catherine, right?
Yep.
Okay. She's going to be racing in Dega, if I remember right.
Well, she'll be making a couple of starts later on in the season in the 78 as well. So they did full time 21, 22, 23, and then they dropped to part time since then. BJ McLeod's done most of those. It's got 115 starts total with no wins, no top 5s. So.
I was about to say, I remember like a few races last season where he didn't have any sponsors either. He just paid the car.
He ran in 5 races last season. I think he only had a sponsor in one of them.
That is absolutely nuts. Knowing how expensive those cars are, that you could just be like, you know what, I'll pay for it.
Right, got some money. But some other guys that have sat in that car that are notable. Fast Pasta's been in there. Sheldon Creed made a start in that car.
Yeah.
Josh Balicki probably be your other guy. Next up, Jimmy Johnson.
Yes, sir. His one start this season has already got a top 3 finish.
Right.
Oh, way better than last season.
Didn't take much.
That's fair. I will say, though, I got to see him in person race last season for the first time in my life. And it's the one race he didn't wreck out in, so I'll take that as a win.
So he has 13 starts for Legacy. But
nice.
Total starts. So 600
Lord.
would be his next start, right?
Yep.
That start, if he makes the field, because it could potentially have more than 40 cars, would be his 700th start. He's got 83 wins, 233 top 5s, and like we mentioned, 7 NASCAR Cup Series championships. Pretty awesome driver to cheer for, I would say.
The GOAT.
If you couldn't see behind me.
The GOAT.
And then last but not least, we got a couple of Trackhouse guys.
Thank you.
Connor Zulich and Helio Castroneves made a couple of starts for Trackhouse.
I liked Castroneves' fire suit when he started because it looked like an apron and stuff. It was pretty nice.
And did you see Hocevar's thing from this weekend? Pretty funny.
I did. Sorry, I'm battling allergies, so you'll have to give me just a second.
Yeah. But Elio Castroneves made one start, finished 39th.
Technically DNF
Yeah,
because he got
DNF.
wrecked out.
Connor Zilic also started once, finished 37th, but that was also
He's gonna be
a
starting
DNF.
again.
He is going to be running again. I don't remember what race it is, but
it's coming up soon because he's going to be in the Red Bull again. So
he will be Red Bull again. Yep. That's it. That's all the ones we got.
Yes, sir. That's all for this season. I think we've caught you guys up to date on the current teams.
Hit that subscribe button if you like the content. Like the video. Put some comments on who your driver is that you're going for this season, just to help out the new people.
Yeah. That and we did talk about this might become a series that we do, not just about drivers, but about just general NASCAR stuff that, I can honestly say that I have learned so much about the NASCAR. I don't even know what to call it. Trivia, I guess, from doing this podcast. Like, it is insane how much I didn't know and how much I've learned so far.
We've been doing it just over a year together. So.
I know, it's nuts. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. But I mean, I went from like a casual viewer to knowing like about the news as soon as it drops, and it's definitely a lot of fun. One of my favorite parts about the podcast is it gives me an excuse to talk to people about NASCAR and like, kind of get where they're coming from. But with that being said, like I said, we're going to eventually make this into a series where we talk about, different pit crew positions, what happens on a pit stop, just different like general things that you might know, you might not know. As much details we can get in, like what does it take to get into a pit crew? Like we did a point systems a while back, so that definitely ties into this. How the playoff points are.
It doesn't have the Xfinity fastest lap included, but other than that, it's up to par.
Which the Xfinity fastest lap is just one extra playoff point, if I remember right.
Just a regular point, but yeah.
Regular point, okay. Yeah. See, it's new. They added it this season. But I mean, it just general things like, if you've never been to a NASCAR race, this is what you can expect because we've been to a few of them now.
I'm going to one next weekend.
Not salty. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode that replaced our scheme scene this week. I hope that you tune in with us Mondays when we talk about races and jump in those comments, and we love having conversations. Like you said, I hope you sub and you go follow us on our socials. I haven't posted this week on our socials. Not that I haven't forgot. I just been busy. I've had state come to my work and stuff, and it's been insane. But that will change starting tomorrow. I promise I will start posting again tomorrow. Let's see here. What else do we got? Oh, we got merch. Guys, we have merch. And very soon we will be releasing more merch. Some new stuff that I think will go over pretty well. You can get hats, not with this logo, but with this logo on it. We are starting to get all of our giveaways, well, some of our giveaway stuff in line. So you be listening for that announcement, and we will let you know how you get into those giveaways. It's going to be a little different this year than it was last year. Last year, we gave out a bunch of stuff that we got on track. This year, we're giving away some die-cast. So, like I said, be watching. That's the only clues you're going to get. That's
you got to tune in live for the juiciness.
That's right. Speaking of giving away die-cast, you can jump into our fantasy league, and then maybe dethrone Trash Can from winning it again this season. And then at the end of the season, if you win, you get a 164th from the Lionel Ray shop of your choosing. So definitely got that going for us. I think that's it. Do you
Yes,
have
sir.
anything else you want to add?
This episode's going up right before Easter, so if you celebrate Easter, happy Easter.
Yes, sir. If not, happy off week.
Right.
At least we get
Happy
Xfinity and
Xfinity
trucks at the Rock.
Xfinity's sold out. I'm looking forward to it.
I know. I'm ready to watch that. I'm ready to see Casey Kane back on track and on my favorite track of
Can you
all
imagine
time.
if he pulls out a win?
Oh, I'd be probably about 60. Well, technically now like $80 deep in the hole because I'd have to buy it.
Right.
But anyway, it's my turn to call us out. So without further ado, keep your tires turned left and your fuel tanks wet. This is Raise Hail Praise Dale signing off.